Oops. Hello? Oh, goodness me. StreamYard, you're killing me, dude. Listen, happy Wednesday. I hope you guys can hear me. We should be able to hear me anyway, so it's all good. For some particular reason, you know what's really interesting, right? Whenever I do these shows, or on occasions when I do these shows, right, we end up having a storm. So today, right, I'm not being funny, right? I took a video with my phone, and I filmed a tornado, okay, which almost came to came all the way down. It was crazy. I was like, wow, that's insane, right? So listen, just want to say happy Wednesday to each and every single one of you guys. Welcome to the Game Changer Show. It is 6 o'clock GMT, and we are on here each and every single Wednesday. And you know, I don't know about you guys. Are you guys having a great week? Because I don't know about you, but I'm having a great week. I'm so pumped right now. I really am. And, you know, things are just off the charts right now. I'm just so excited about things. But anyway, listen, this is not about me. This show is about you guys, about how we can have more fun, how can we become more interactive, more connected, and more engaged. But listen, we've got a great speaker today. And before I introduce her, let me introduce her really quickly. Her name is Cecilia Liu, originally from China. Okay, she's a senior executive. I suppose a senior executive that has over 20 years experience in working with corporate teams. She worked with Siemens, the big company, the big corporate company Siemens, sat on the board of directors there. She originally was from China and moved to the US, and then now is in Germany. She is a speaker, so she speaks all over the world, and she speaks on some really interesting subjects. She's going to be talking a little bit about some of her passions, which is all about gratitude, love, compassion, empathy, and also about Thai business, or Tao business, as they like to call it. So we're going to have a lot of fun. What I would like you guys to do, okay, I would love it if you could make a quick comment or say a hi or whatever it is, okay? It would be great to have you here because this is about having some fun and having some interaction. Now, if you work in this type of space, this is going to be a great conversation. So listen, without further ado, put your hands together for Cecilia Liu. Woo!
Oh, hello, Adam. So good to see you, Adam, and everyone online.
Very good. Good to see you as well, Celia. Sorry, I'm a little bit laggy today. As like I said, it was a little bit of a storm going on, so bear with me. Bear with me. But listen, guys, you should be able to hear me anyway, rather than kind of seeing my laggy face all over the place. But listen, Cecilia, it's really good to have you on here and stuff like that. I wanted to ask actually, because I know that you're originally from China and you migrated to the US and now you're in Europe. How did you fall into the kind of executive coaching role? Because, you know, coming from different cultures as well, you know, must have its, should we say, it must have its, what's the word I'm looking for? Its challenges, I think probably the word is I'm looking for. But how did you fall into the executive coaching role?
Yes, thank you so much. How I landed this one is after the 20 years with a corporate, and we had an amazing performance also at those corporations. Of course, you know that at Siemens, I was only foreigner on the management board. So you can imagine
Crazy.
it's not thing, and you need to really show with the performance that that's the only way to keep up with it. But after a while, and then I felt that it's something missing in the business realm. So, and I felt that even the success may become higher and higher, more and more, but inside of myself became more and more empty. So eventually I end up with the depression, burnout. So yeah, I with the depression, burnout, and suddenly what's happened was I can work 12 hours a day and suddenly drop to 2 hours a day. So that was a clear message. I couldn't move like that anymore. So it was not an easy time, but there was also time for me to reset reset my life and reset about who I am, what I'm here for, what is the business about. And eventually it was like I had to go through the complete reprocess journey and then rising up step by step. So now, and it's that when I look back, it's a gift. Every challenge in life, once we can overcome it, and it's a gift in itself. So now I can see that many people or organizations have a similar challenges, that the way we approach business can be differently. And also executives, the high stress and high demanding way of work, and that could have easier way to work. Like right now, I work much more than 12 hours a day, but I don't feel stressed. I don't feel burnout. I feel excited every day. It's like it's totally different state. It's totally different working. The creativity just more and more. But you feel happier. That's the way I wish all the executives can work like that.
I have an interesting question. You talked about burnout, right? When you suffered from burnout and depression. What do you think was the real cause for you? What was the real cause of that burnout and depression? Was it because that you were unhappy? Was it because you weren't living your purpose? What was, from your perspective, the cause of that?
Very good question. Very good question. That was exactly where I started. So when I went to the doctor at that time, they told me I worked too much. So obviously the amount of work was, then what happened is even when I take leave and almost stopped working, but still my burnout, my depression symptoms did not get improved. So then brought me to the question, if the work too much brings a burnout, what about the people in China? They work probably 15 hours, 16 hours a day continuously and hardly hear those like construction people, right? They never had burnout. So that was it. And eventually what I found out for myself, and maybe also for many others, it's about like still coming back to you talk about good topic as a purpose. So eventually what I realized was a disalignment between my heart and my mind. So my mind was wanting to have this career, this success, and the social way defined, but my heart wants something different, something more fulfilling. So this disalignment, and until a certain point, you could no longer move anymore. Then I crashed. So when the heart says, I no longer want to play the same game, shut, club. And that's what I realized, because that's eventually for me to recover was not because of I rest. Like even right now, if you see the working too much burnout, I should have huge, even severe burnout right now, but it's not, because my heart and mind are aligned. I'm doing the thing I love. So every work is no longer about work and stress, but it's about enjoyment, it's about excitement, it's about creation.
Love it. Very cool. Because it's really interesting, and it's what's really interesting about working in the virtual world. And I was actually speaking to my buddy about this, right? In the news, I don't watch the news, but there was something on social media that caught my eye. And they featured some business owners and entrepreneurs that were kind of feeling burnout, right? And the reason they were feeling burnout was they were doing so many hours. And I thought to myself, I thought about this, Cecilia, because it just didn't make any sense, right? I was like, hang on a second. You're working from home out of choice. You're busting your balls out of choice. And now, because you're busting yourself to death, you're now not enjoying it, which is why you're burnt out and depressed. And the fact of the matter is that these people had so many choices, whereas most people that work in a corporate job, they become completely unaware about what's actually happening to them. Do you know what I mean? It's just, I find it quite extraordinary. But anyway, kind of moving on. So listen, I was interesting because I know that you worked in the corporate world for quite some time, right? Which was really interesting, especially for Siemens. Was there many women? I mean, you said just a second ago you were the only foreign woman working on the senior board of directors. How did you feel about that? Just out of curiosity, did it make you feel uncomfortable? Did it make you feel out of context? I'd love to know what your thoughts and feelings are.
Yes, very good question. So at that management board, I was only foreigner, and also we had about 4 ladies, 4 women. So out of the about 15 exec senior board, so you can see the proportion is, for me, it's like minority multiply minority. So it's definitely not easy, especially with the language also. So when we have
Right.
about meeting, we speak English about German, because they say my German is better than their English, so we speak German. So it's a disadvantage plus disadvantages. But I think when I look back, it's in such environments, it has to be the performance is the key, right? The at the end of the day, people look at the performance, and I think very grateful that I was able to deliver 300% of the target, which was the historical record for the business improvement worldwide. That year, that was shocking for everyone. So
Yeah.
but definitely the environment is not easy. But it's a good training, though. It's good training that in terms of training the self-discipline, the confidence, the ability to go with the different people, different culture, and different mindset, different priority as well. Yeah.
You know what's really interesting, right? So obviously, as you know, I'm from the UK, and in the UK, they're very much, they're very kind of pro entrepreneurship. They like to support people who want to start their own business and become independent, right?
Yeah.
And I've got a few friends actually that have come from different countries, whether it be from India, Singapore, Europe, whatever it is. Okay, they come to the UK, they see an opportunity, and they build their business. Right, they become an entrepreneur essentially, and they build a business. Right. And but one of the things that I find that really help, which really kind of it makes them, it blocks them, I suppose, in a way. They sabotage themselves because they do something which is not in correlation to the culture of that country or that industry, because they are misinterpreted whatever it is that they're out, they may be communicating in the wrong manner or whatever it is. How important, from your perspective, working, being Asian, working in the United States, which is a completely different culture, then shifting to Europe, which again is that's a completely different. So there's 3 main cultures that you're having to deal with. How difficult did you find working in those 3 cultures? Do you have a message to those people that are trying to build a business in, maybe a foreigner, someone that's from a different country trying to build a business in a country that they're in right now?
Yes, very good question. So I would see this both sides. On one side is no matter which culture, the fundamental rules is the same. So the principle of business to succeed, right? Let's say you need to have really outstanding product and services and have a great vision and implementation abilities to make that happen. That's across the board. Doesn't matter which culture, it's all working. But at the same time, it's also, for right now, the competition become bigger and bigger. Then for any organization, for any individual, that we need to find the unique niche. So the unique niche oftentimes comes with our background, comes with our culture, with our experience, with our unique skill set. So we have to find the unique skill set, the gifts, then develop from that places. That's where we can shine. Otherwise, the diversity is beauty in the way that everyone has a different part to contribute. And right, that's the same as for Siemens. One of the advantages is that it has the international force. Just not easy to get to the management board level, but from the workforce level, we do have a multicultures. That comes with multicultures. Also, people see the things in different ways. So you have a blend of reviews, and that's 360 degrees of views, and that can provide a balance. And that also test around your product and your services. If that works for this multicultural environment inside, before I go to market, it has a good chance to survive, to succeed, and outside of the market. And also, like for instance, right now for me, one of my concentration is to merge the ancient wisdoms with the modern Western business principles. Let's say from MBAs, from US, from Germany, those business practices, but with the ancient Chinese culture and wisdoms, and that merging together. This is something unique, is something needed, something I can provide. So in this way that I can provide the values, the services people needed, but not easy to find. That's where we have a win-win situation.
You know, it's really interesting. I remember working with a couple of international corporate companies, and one of the things that they found in particularly difficult is keeping their, they have a main office, say, I don't know, say in London, for example, right? Then they'd have like smaller offices in, say, Australia, in Singapore, in Malaysia, or wherever. And what they found particularly difficult was, number one was the culture, but number two is getting people engaged on all the same level. Does that make sense? So that people in Singapore didn't feel like they're being being left out compared to people in, say, their own country. Do you have any advice for people that are building international organizations or are thinking about going into different markets that maybe need to be mindful of about certain business advice, about growing their business?
Yeah, absolutely. This is also related to the international strategy for the corporations to go to worldwide, like how much you do localize, how much you still have the corporate identity cultures to merging together. And I would say, like, taking example of foreign-owned companies. 20 years ago, when they go to China, they pretty much dominate the global, like local culture has very little influence. But when the Chinese culture, economy rises, then the localization needs to be bigger and bigger so that it can tap into the local condition. And this is important, the adaptation according to the local situations. But it's also important when you go to local country, you need to come in the position of empowerment, not just to take advantage of local culture, local country. I think that's also very important. So you can create eventually at the end of the day, business is for win-win. So if we create a win and lose, that's only temporary profit and revenue, whatever that is. It can only sustain if it's a win-win situation.
Love it. I love creating those win-win situations, and I absolutely 100% agree. And you mentioned a couple of things there. You mentioned empowerment, which I think was a really good thing. Actually, one thing that I actually had kind of highlighted was culture integration. The importance of bringing people together and the importance of that, which I think is really, really important. I know that you specialize in towel business. I know you've got some calligraphy in the background, some Chinese calligraphy. I remember, actually, it's interesting, right? I was doing a clubhouse last week, actually, and a good friend of mine from the US, he's Black African American, and he did actually, he's fluent in Japanese, believe it or not. And I remember, even though Japanese and Chinese are two different languages, but the point of my story was one of the first things that I learned to do was Japanese calligraphy. And so one of the and being a young lad of I think it was about 15 at the time, I'd written in kind of Chinese calligraphy. I was really big into video games, Cecilia. I really loved Mario and stuff like that. So I kind of like, it was like, I mean, I had written about Mario and stuff like that, which is kind of funny. But listen, I wanted to ask you though, compassion in the workplace, because I know that is love and compassion is something that you specialize in particularly. How important is love and compassion in the workplace? But in fact, first of all, what is love and compassion in the workplace, and how does one apply to it?
Yes, great question, great question. Thank you for asking that. And we'll start with what is the love, as you talk about. The love and compassion, first of all, is very similar. So like a Buddhist teaching hardly speak about love because they think the love is a compassion, like in a bigger way. It's not a private way of love, but it's the bigger way of love. So, and I have a calligraphy here. This is where we go to the Chinese ancient wisdom that tells us the secret code. Okay, you see here? So
I can see.
This calligraphy means the greatest love. This word means great. This word means love. So that is the greatest love. Greatest love means unconditional love. Okay. So what is the love in the business arena? And this will coming from this word of love in Chinese has a Chinese language has sacred coding system. This is also what I started to, when I started to teach and also learn calligraphy more and more, that discovered more and more. So for what is a love? People, what am I looking for, especially for business, what that is? This love in Chinese has a 3 part. This upper part means a roof. Roof.
Okay.
From here to here, it's like a house, the roof, right? So like this house roof. So this middle part from here to here, it's heart. It's a heart.
Okay.
This is all calligraphy is different from traditional Chinese calligraphy. It's a oneness writing. So that's a heart. It's also sign of infinity. Yes. And this lower part means friends.
Okay.
Friends. So what is a love? Love is a friends living under the same roof with the joined hearts together. I say that again. What is a love? Love is a friends living under the same roof with the joined hearts together.
Love it.
Yeah, this can be, of course, for family relationship. You share a household, but it also can be for business. So for business, we share this roof of the organization itself. Organization culture, organization setup, organization goals, etc. So for business, this roof means that empowerment, means the freedom, the protection, right? People, the employees feel safe, feel secure, feel empowered, feel free. Only when they feel free, only when they feel protected, and when they feel safe, they can perform. And give you an example of how this applies. For instance, for IT industry, whatever the industry has a lot of creativities, like Google and Apple, etc. They emphasize on this part very much. So really giving the employees, engineers, the freedom to create. Right, you know that Google's program for 15% of the time that they can use for their personal hobby created so many products. So that's where, with the freedom, empowerment, creativity can be enhanced multiple times. Then this middle part is the joined hearts. This is where, what is the joined hearts for business? That is the joined vision, join the mission, join the goal. And that's where I see that many companies, the small or bigger, can be, if a company, if we wait on this part, it's, the drive will not be strong enough. And for smaller company, this is a mission, right? For vision.
Right.
But for big company, same thing. Let's say for Siemens. Siemens is 170 years old already. And what's made that so far is that Siemens' vision for the last 100 years was very clear. It's being the pioneers. So that's the culture into the backbone of the organization. But unfortunately, allow me to say recently that even the Siemens being affected by the US culture, which is looking at the shareholder values. Then the shareholder value oftentimes looking at the short-term gains. So then we compromise on the vision and mission level. Then what comes with that is people start to falling apart. People start to go into different directions. Then when people start going to different directions, the bigger organizations, and then they start to use the control mechanism to pull back in, but it's a manual process. It's very costly, but less effective, right? So you can see that, and especially in current time, that with online business, people have same product, people have multiple choices. Then at the end of the day, who do they choose to? They want to choose someone they can feel the heart, isn't it? If we think about it, they want to choose the company that carries a sense of purpose, carries a sense of mission, carries something what is exciting. So that's here the very clear, very touchable also for business results, and that directly shows on the profit, on the revenue. And this bottom part is a friends. So friends are multiple layers. Friends, of course, at the employee layer that you have the friendship, you support each other. One thing actually at the Siemens where we tend to do it, we try to help the employees to form like a friendship, especially US. So what we found is when the colleagues are become friends to each other, the work relationship it becomes easier and easier. The productivity also rises. You see? So because everyone likes to work with the friends, and everyone likes to feel the feeling you have friends stand behind you and support you. That's a shoulder. That's a shoulder. So this is a friend, but also more than that, in the current time, if you really observe the company expanded so quickly, they not only have the friendship with their employees or among the employees, but also they start to form a friendship with their customers. This is very important. So because with online business, it changes not only to put the business online, but it's fundamentally change relationship between the business and the customers. Right? That's actually biggest change. And right, if you look at before online, the business and the customers are supply and demand relationship. It's very cut and dry. But now with this going to online, people have so many rich choices that the expectation rises, and people want to do the business they feel they're connected, they feel they're friends with. So this is also the key for business to establish the friendship with their customers. Like if you look at the fastest growing company recently in the last 10 years, and happened to be coupled with Chinese company. One is a Xiaomi, the cell phone company, and the other one is a TikTok, right? TikTok. So one is internet, one is app. There's a reasons. And with the Xiaomi, I remember I want to find out why they grow so big, so fast. So I changed from iPhone to Xiaomi just to find it out. And what I experienced is that they have such a fun club. The customer is no longer customer. The customer is like the biggest fan of the company. And they have fan clubs everywhere, worldwide. And so that drive, and they are, without being paid, they just tell everyone. And the whole house is a Xiaomi product. TikTok also, people love to use a TikTok, become part of their life, becomes friends. So this really gives us a very clear indication what's a love in business. We need to have the sense of safety, protection, empowerment, not controlling, but empowerment, but also has a clear and a joint vision and mission. This mission need to be joined together, not only just founders, but people only will join that if they felt that's also for them as well. And further on to have build the friendship, their supporting relationship, all with among the employees, but also with the customers. And if any company can manage these three, it's almost for sure it's going to be successful. That's the success formula or love formula for business.
Very cool. So I have a question. Can this be applied to any size business?
Yeah. It can be a
Okay.
plant. It can be as big as multinational company like Siemens. Siemens operates 20 countries and revenue over $100 billion a year, but also can be a startup company. Same thing. So for startup company, it's even more important because it needs to have the sense of family very important at the beginning. So that's
Agreed.
the key. But for bigger organization, I see the challenges here is to keep the vision, join the hearts together. Sorry. Yeah. So, but anyway, if any company challenge, you can see one of the elements may be missing.
Okay, that makes complete sense. And you know, I'm a big fan of the whole kind of mission, vision, values. You know, I drone that down to a T. And you know, I love the whole kind. I'm also really fascinated by, you know, I mean, I've done a lot of traveling as well and building an international company wherever I want in the world. But I'm just fascinated how, you know, how people work in terms of their culture. Like, for example, I'm here in Cyprus right now, Cecilia, right? And oh my God, it can be so frustrating because people literally move at the pace of a snail, right? And it's really frustrating, right? Because me, I move so quickly, like my brain moves so quickly, and I'm like, oh my God, these people are so frustrating, right? And it's like you then have to kind of just like, you know, accept it is what it is type of thing, you know. So kind of it is kind of funny though. But yeah, it's really, really fascinating. But yeah, it's all good. The other thing I was going to say to you actually, what do you, because I know that, you know, you've moved into this new area now where you're working on your own thing, but I'd love to know what you're working on right now. And do you know if you have a big ask?
Yes. And what what I'm working on right now is because where I felt the business arena right now needs something, what our current business systems and practices, I felt is going to be outdated very soon. So it's very much the current system. I mean, if you remember what we learned from business school, the MBA is really dominating worldwide the business principles and guidance, and it's effective. It worked out in last decades and a few decades actually, but I felt for where we're going to, it would not be enough because it's lost on the mind, a menu level. Drive, push. So for Chinese philosophy, everything's about yin yang balance. So like yin yang logo, right? So if that yin yang, if this is yin yang logo, if it's too much yang, then eventually it's going to fall. So that's exactly with the business arena. So many companies collapsed because of too much yang. It cannot sustain that longevity, so to speak. And I truly believe business, same as person can have longevity, business also can. But you do have to have this yin-yang balance. So now this overly yang need to being less, then have the yin quality comes in. Then you have the yin-yang balance. What is the yin-yang in business? Like drive, determination, the goal, objective, clarity. That's all the yang quality. Not saying they're not good, they're needed, they're absolutely needed. But the point is that we also need, on the other hand, we need the love we spoke about. This sense of empowerment is a yin quality. The sense of joined heart together, it's yin quality. The sense of supporting each other is yin quality. The sense of we stand behind each other is yin quality. So all those need to come in as well to balance this yang. Then the business can be like a person healthily develop in the long run. And I really felt that's the needs, and that's what missing in the business culture, organization, also business school. So that's why I'm so passionate to work on this arena for DAO business, and also had honor to co-writing the book DAO Business with Dr. Sha. And this book shall be published soon.
Very good. We're looking forward to that. By the way, we've got Rewata here. I think I probably said that right. She says, Strong presentation. I get goosebumps of friends living under the same roof with joined hearts and how it can be applicable so universally for aspects of life, including business. Fantastic comment there. Thanks very much, Rewater. That's fantastic. By the way, I probably said that incorrectly, so I do apologize. You're probably going to kick my ass when you personal message me. But listen, that was a great comment, and we love you. Thank you so much. That was a great comment. Thank you. Yeah, absolutely. So, guys, what I was going to say is, Cecilia, what's the best way for people to connect with you if you have any questions around Tao business and love, gratitude, and some of the things we've been talking about today? What's the best way for them to contact you?
Yes, so people can connect with me on the Facebook. So my Facebook is Cecilia Liu, CECILIA.Liu. So on Facebook, you can friend with me. You can send me a message if you want to have a personal discussion more, and we can go from there. I'll be happy to. Yeah. Perfect. So guys, listen, make sure that you connect with Cecilia on Facebook. If you have any questions, mention the Game Changer Show. If you've seen Cecilia here on the show, then you can mention that. Then you can meet 2 and 2 together. So listen, Cecilia, it's been great to talk today. I just want to say thanks very much for being on the show. Well, thank you, Alton. I know you have such burning heart. You really want to. My feeling is you really want to empower people to find their purpose, isn't it? Like the mission, vision, find that drive, the ultimate drive, so the potential and many things can rise from that places. And thank you for what you do.
Appreciate it. I really appreciate it. Thank you very much, and sincere gratitude to you, and love and gratitude. Definitely 100%. Listen, guys, hope that you've enjoyed today. Please do me a favor. If you listen to the recording of this, feel free to leave a comment in the comment section below, by the way. You can say hi if you have a question, whatever it is. We'll get back to you in due response. But otherwise, listen, it will be great to see you next Wednesday. If you're listening to this for the first time, make sure that you have subscribed to the YouTube channel and you press the most important thing, which is the bell, because otherwise you won't get notified when we go live. So listen, I will see you again next Wednesday. Cecilia, thanks very much. I really appreciate you being on the show today. See you soon, guys.
Thank you, Alton. Thank you, everyone. Bye-bye.